attention. Businesses in downtown Portland still tallying up the damage after May Day protests turned into riots.
We are now getting reaction from city leaders about the violence. Trevor Ault is live right now with more. Trevor?
Hey, good afternoon, Ken and Jenny. Yeah, we've been working since yesterday afternoon to try to get some type of interview with Mayor Ted Wheeler to talk about these riots. And we actually have our reporter Tim Becker with him right now. We want to show you some live video and take up his sound with what the mayor is saying.
Not at all. In fact, given what we were seeing on social media and given what had happened a few days ago in Montevilla, and given what historically happens on May Day, we were absolutely expecting that there would be a limited number of people coming in with the intention of disrupting what was otherwise a peaceful march for the vast, vast majority. What did surprise me was how quickly they jumped into it. Typically they wait till after dark, but these guys decided to go very quickly. As soon as they got by the federal building, they started committing acts of vandalism. The police acted very quickly to immediately cancel the permit, and they began arresting people who they were observing committing acts of vandalism. And that's exactly what the police bureau should be doing. I applaud them, and I thank them for being there during both difficult and potentially unsafe circumstances.
PPD has been taking a little bit tougher or stricter stance. They've been acting more quickly. Is that something that you direct them to do?
It's something I certainly support.
Let me expand on that a little bit. Since you've been in office, there has been a police response that has been a huge contrast. Bridges are not taken anymore. Streets are not taken anymore. The activity yesterday diffused, Mayor, in 30 minutes, 45 minutes once the police came in. There's been a lot of talk of use of force and that kind of thing. Why the change? And what do you?
Well, first of all, what do I attribute it to? We've been very clear in our expectations. I said a few days after I took office that when it came to these large-scale protests, we were going to protect First Amendment rights. We were going to encourage people to secure permits, that we were not going to allow people to block regional transportation systems, that we were not going to allow them access to bridges or freeways for their protection and safety and the protection and safety of everybody else in the community, and that under no circumstances would we accept violence or vandalism. And so we set a clear standard, we have upheld that clear standard, and that's what I'm going to continue to do as mayor.
Do you continue to permit events?
Yes, of course. Yes, and yesterday
before Mayor Wheeler started doing this sound, which we will make sure that we get you an updated version of that interview later today. He did issue a statement this morning. He said in part, quote, "Last night was another chapter in a story that has become all too familiar in Portland. Protests that begin peacefully but devolve quickly due to the actions of those whose only desire is to damage people and property." And the mayor went on to say, quote, "Today I am going to reach out to downtown businesses that were damaged yesterday. They play a vital role in the economic life of our community, and they have my support," end quote. And we just heard Mayor Wheeler there talking about how he supported the way that police handled this riots, condemned the rioters also in the statement this morning. Again, he will be reaching out to those businesses. He told us it'd be over the phone, though we don't know what he'll be saying. That's one of the many questions that are being asked of him right now in that interview, and we'll make sure we update you as we get more information on him. But ultimately, it seemed to be the big takeaway from what we've heard from him so far is that Mayor Wheeler supports the way Portland police reacted to yesterday's riot. Reporting live in downtown Portland, Trevor Ault, KOIN 6 News.
And they reacted quickly. Disheartening, though, to see all those businesses boarded up downtown. All right, thank you, Trevor.
And as the mayor praises the Portland Police Bureau for their response, we are hearing from the police chief about the decision to move in once the peaceful march turned into a violent protest. He says he didn't have much of a choice. His officers needed to start making arrests.
Brent Weisberg was the first reporter to speak with Chief Marshman this morning, and here's what he told us.
After the riots in downtown Portland, this is what's left of all of the damage here at the downtown Target. Portland Police Chief Mike Marshman describes the behavior of the rioters as pure criminality. Chaos on the streets of Portland. The annual May Day March hijacked by anarchists, hell-bent on destroying the city.
I'm not sure what their message is other than they just completely devalue the system we have in the United States.
Got them all wrong. Police Chief Mike Marshman surprised by the smaller than expected turnout for the permitted march.
Now is the time.
But on the flip side, you know, the anarchists, the black bloc group that's all dressed in black, you know, their numbers were a little bit larger than I expected.
The group lighting fires and smashing out windows brought downtown Portland to a halt. At 9th and Morrison, anarchists try to light Target on fire by throwing in a flare. The chief calling that, quote, an amazing criminal act.
That pretty soon to an event set a different tone, so we were concerned about the safety of everybody downtown.
Today, Marshman has strong words for the anarchists who interrupted a historically important day for the city and its immigrant families.
They're damaging local community small business owners, and to me, I just simply don't understand that. I don't know why they would do that. They're hurting the folks who live in Portland with them.
Detectives with the Portland Police Bureau continue to investigate, reviewing surveillance video. They say if you happen to have any video or pictures of any of the anarchists and rioters, they'd like to hear from you. We have a phone number and a link to their website at KOIN.com. Reporting in downtown Portland, I'm Brent Weisberg for KOIN 6 News.